I would agree that we have adequate resources. We're absolutely certain of our tactical plan here. We're very aware, and we're obviously at the behest of the conditions and the agile nature of our planning, but the resources are responding to that. We've upped the resources recently in order to provide refreshment, rotation of our crews for that relief, because obviously the conditions are quite heavy going. So helicopter assets are one of the assets, or one of the tactics that we can actually employ. It's not always adequate. It's not always the right solution, and perhaps when we've not needed them, and then perhaps that might change. So helicopter support, we have resourced this adequately. This incident, helicopters may not have been sufficient or suitable at that time, but it's also what we can actually access as well. So if helicopters are not available, we have direct and indirect means to fighting fire, and that's what we're deploying. So we're content with the activities that we're actually underway with, but we have been liaising with the landowners in order to consider the helicopter assets and the support, and that will be what we consider now for moving forward in terms of tactical plan. I'm very happy with our tactical plan, if that's the question really. In terms of where fire goes, we're at the behest of the wind and whatnot. We're in very positive conditions at the moment. The wind speed is down. We're working with public health just to make sure that smoke plume and smoke travel is a consideration for things as well. But in terms of the actual size of the fire, we're the containment element, or the discussion about containment. I'm very content of our tactical plan, and our resources are adequate to be here and to be dealing with it. So we're reacting to that as we need to. The fire is likely to crawl and spread, but I don't have any concerns about not being able to eventually put it into check. So we are using the various different tactics. We've got Forestry Land Scotland and the RSPB using their machinery in order to create fire breaks. So these fire breaks are very active and very positive in terms of taking fire to that, and then it doesn't go any further. So there's a lot of tactics that keep it going but take it to a safe place, and that's what we're obviously exploring as well. So there's a bit of a mixed approach as to how we're dealing with it, in terms of how it then the time scales involved. It'll come to a natural conclusion for us. A helicopter's not always the best resource for the reasons I've cited. It can also be a hazard for us, but it definitely provides a lot of aerial support. So if our tactics are to use aerial support, then that would be the most appropriate way of dealing with it. So I mean, this, as much as it's got a lot of interest because of where it's at. It's obviously in this area where we've got the bylaw. We hope that we never have to experience this here. The significance of this, I don't mean to say it's bread and butter, but this is very much ordinary practice for us. So we're just getting about what we're doing normally and using the resources and making sure that the planning and the forward planning all comes into place. So this is very much a business as usual activity for us. I mean, that's a difficult question, because the decision we've taken is a public safety measure as opposed to the direct impact of the fire in terms of it's more about the smoke travel as well. So I'm hoping that we get to the point where we can start to get to a considered place where people can start to use the space we're in more effectively and get back to their homes. But we're managing it and monitoring it for the moment. There's no further evacuations at this time. That may be dynamic, and obviously we react alongside partners to make sure that the right decisions are taken in advance to allow people to leave safely. But it is really precautionary. Nobody's had this really direct risk at the moment. We've been very precautionary with it. So we'll continue to monitor it and make sure that people aren't where they can't be. So obviously we want to make sure people are safe, and so we'll obviously take the right call on what that looks like for people, and we'll only let them back in when that is deemed to be a safe space. I don't think that's going to last for us, an innumerable time. So we're keen that people get about their daily business as best as possible. But whilst we are still in the active phase, I do think that it's a hard call to make at the moment as to how long we'll be in this space for. But very proactive alongside the community planning, the local resilience partners, Highland Council. Everybody's got a part to play to make sure this is resolved and people are at the forefront and the real considerations that are being taken here. So